Hey everyone, welcome back to Tonic Studios, and today I'm sharing their die set that you can create a shutter card with. Now I've already made a shutter card here, and I want to show you how this works and what it is. And this die set is really fun. You can do so many different things with it. So you can just kind of take off this little band here, and when you open this up, it opens those little windows in the middle there, and that's where you get the whole shutter card from. It looks like a shutter opening up. So it's a really fun interactive die set that you can make these really fun cards with. And I just want to show you the die set, and I want to show you how to assemble all of these pieces so that you can go ahead and get creative with this set. All right, so here is our die set. It's a very large set. You get a lot of dies in here, and you're really going to be able to do a lot of fun things with this shutter card. So your main die here is this big one, and I just want to give you a look at this. This is going to cut your card and the two panels that open. So when you cut it out, it's going to look like this. I've already got this one folded. Now the die does cut and score, so it scores these two sides that you can easily fold it. Now I have this kind of halfway prepped so that I can show you how to assemble it, but I have our little sentiment in the middle there. I just wanted to show you what this looks like when you cut it out. You have this piece that you can fold, and this creates the base of your card. So you want to use this die for that one. Now, you can cut out the different layering pieces for the front. I used this little die here to cut out these patterned papers and just layer them on the front. But if you also want to add a design into those panels, like I've done with this one, you can take one of these dies and then you can add this design in the middle. And when you go ahead and you cut it out, you get this really intricate design on one of those panels. Now, if you don't want this panel cut out to be a single panel, but you want to make sort of a window in your card front, you can do that as well just by putting this design here and not using the outside die. So that way it just cuts that design right into this card front here, and you have sort of a see-through window for your shutter card. So that would be really fun as well. Now, along with the different panels that you can cut out to decorate your card, you can also make this really fun band that will keep it closed until you pull it off and open up your shutter card. So for that band, you're going to take this long and skinny die here, and it's kind of just like your large die that you cut your card base from. Is a little bit longer so it can wrap around your card, but this just cuts that band. And you can see here that it is also scored so that it makes it easy for you to fold. I've just cut it out of craft paper, but you can use any color paper you want, any design, or you can even stamp and color your own band, or use a ribbon. That would be fun too. You wouldn't have to use the die with the ribbon, but you can make a fun little band for your card. All you have to do is cut out that little piece, fold it, and then what I did here is I cut out this sentiment here out of some craft paper, and I added it with some foam adhesive to the front of my little band. So now I can just slip it over my card, and it's going to keep everything closed until you're ready to open it up. So for the next piece that you're going to want for assembling this is this inside piece. So this is actually this die here. You can see it's going to cut out this inside piece, and it's also going to score so that you can fold the back over and adhere it down. And it's going to keep that right in place so that your shutter windows can go behind there. So for your shutter windows, you have two options. You've got this one that has the banner edge, and that's what I used here. It actually makes it open and close into sort of a little triangle. Or you have sort of this angled half banner, and I'm going to be using this on a card that I'm going to be making in this video, so you'll see what that looks like as well. Now for that sentiment in the middle here, I used some of Tonic's metallic paper and one of these little sentiments, and it presses into that paper, but it doesn't completely cut it out, and it works really well with that gold or any kind of metallic paper because it will press into there really easily because that paper is kind of soft and takes impressions very well. So that's what I've done with that, and I just lined it up with this opening after I cut this out with my little diamond die here so that it would be a perfect little sentiment in the background. Now you can also use these panels to decorate the inside. I would say go ahead and decorate them and then put your little shutter pieces on. And I left this sort of halfway adhered so I can show you how these are put on here. You want to go ahead and lay them down, and I'm going to show you how to get them lined up. But once you have them on there and you put that middle panel in, when you open and close, it's going to make a really fun shutter card. So lots of little die pieces to cut out, but it's really easy to assemble, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. Now, along with all of those basic pieces for cutting out your card, you also get a lot of fun little goodies like these little strips here, little designs that you can cut out, some more intricate designs. You also get some of these coordinating dies here that goes along with a stamp set that coordinates with this set. So with this stamp set, you can cut out some flowers and some leaves and some different designs here and lots of little sentiments. So I've used that here with this card. I've stamped that little thank you so much in the middle, and I've stamped those little flowers and just colored them really quickly. I have a lot of other little pieces cut and stamped and die cut here. I'm going to be adding this to the front, and I've got all kinds of little flowers that I've stamped and colored and die cut, and I can layer them on top of my card. So now that I've given you a little look at the stamps and dies that come with this set, I'm going to show you how to assemble it. Now it looks complicated and scary, but it's really not that bad. So I've already showed you how we use that big die to cut out our base here and fold the sides in. This is going to make the front and sort of the inside of your little shutter card. And I cut out some of these really fun designs that I'm going to go ahead and glue on the front of my card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm using my little dish here that I like to put all of my little die cuts in, and I'm just going to use that to keep this closed for the time being. And I'm going to take some of my glue and add some glue to the back of these panels here. And I'm going to decorate the front of my card. So once I have the glue on the back of this panel, I'm just going to center it on my card front here and just kind of hold it down for a second so it can really adhere. And you can also use different colors of cardstock. You could do some ink blending behind this. You can cut out another solid panel to layer behind this so that you have some different colors showing through. But I wanted to kind of get some of this detail on there without it being too overwhelming. So I'm doing sort of a white on white look today. So I've got this side all adhered down, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere the other side on to this one. All right. All right, so I have both of those panels adhered on the front. So I have my design adhered to the front, and you can go ahead and embellish this some more or color it or anything you want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add the shutter portion to the inside of your card now. So I have 2 of these banner pieces cut out, and I showed you sort of the one, my first card, how it's the banner pieces right here, but this is that half banner piece, and so it's going to give you kind of a different look when you're sliding your card open. And the way I like to line this up is I already have my sentiment behind here, so I know exactly where I need my shutter pieces to go. So I'm going to line that up over my sentiment and kind of try to get it centered, and then I'm going to put my adhesive on both sides. So I've got some of this red line tape here. That's a really strong hold when you're doing sort of interactive cards or 3D type cards. And I'm actually just going to put some on the back of these flaps here and trim off the extra. I'm not going to release the backing paper just yet because I want to make sure everything is where it needs to go. Okay, so once I have all of my adhesive on there, I'm just going to line up my shutter pieces and going to center it, and I'm going to peel off this backing paper on one side, if I can get it. And then I'm going to close this side here, and that is going to adhere it to this window. So now when you pull it open, you can see it slide back. And when you close it, you can see it slide forward. So that's how you make this all work and slide and just become so fun and interactive. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just peeling off that adhesive backing, and I'm going to close this side of the card, make sure it's stuck down really good. So now that I have both sides stuck down, when I open it, it will slide open to reveal that sentiment in the background. So that's really fun. Now you can see that it doesn't stay down until you put your middle piece on there. So what I'm going to do is line this up, and I cut the circle out beforehand, and I lined it up with my sentiment so that I can get it in exactly the right place when I'm ready to adhere it down. Now I'm going to get this centered, and you can see now that once you have that adhered, you're going to have that shutter in the middle. That's really fun, opens and closes. It holds these flaps down so that it just kind of opens and closes perfectly just the way you want it to. Now I'm actually going to adhere this to the back side. Now I'm going to use some of this tape here and adhere it to the back side so that it holds it really secure. And this tape is a little bit too wide for what I need it to be, so I'm just going to cut it down the center and make it a little bit more narrow. Again, I want to flip it over and make sure that that is centered before I adhere it down, because this is a really strong adhesive. and it holds really well. So you want to make sure that where you're putting it is where you want it, so you don't have problems later. So I've got one side adhered down, and I'm going to put my adhesive on the back side here and remove that backing paper and fold that one over as well. So that's basically how you assemble your shutter card. Those are the main pieces. You want your base cut out, you want your shutter pieces, and you want this middle piece, and that can create the main mechanism of your shutter card. And you can go ahead and decorate it any way you want. You can use the dies to put a sentiment in there. You can use the stamps. You can decorate all of these different things. Now, like I showed you, you can also cut out a layering piece to go on this inside. And so that's what I've done, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that down so that I have that same design from the outside glued onto the inside. So I'm going to make sure I've got glue all over the back side of this panel. Going all around the edges. And I'm also adding some here and there on the back of this design. Then I can just line it up with this inside piece. Make sure it's straight, not crooked, and give it a second to dry. You don't need a lot of glue at all, because if you put too much on there, it's going to kind of smoosh out the sides and make your card a bit sticky. So there's a really fun shutter card, just like the first one that I showed you. This one I'm actually going to go ahead and adhere this middle piece down again. I left it a little bit loose so I could show you guys what it looks like as you're assembling it. But I want to make sure that it stays so that I can go ahead and send it to somebody. So I'm going to take some more of this red tape. And just adhere these two pieces down. And then I have this shutter card working as well. So you can see the difference between the two shutters. This one has that triangle in the middle because I used that sort of banner piece. And this one just kind of opens up from the middle, which looks really cool as well. And you can see all of those fun designs in the middle. So lots of fun things that you can do with these shutter cards. I hope that gives you a good look at how to assemble them. I'm just going to go and decorate the front of this one a little bit. Like I said, you can use a band, cut out a band for the front of this like I did on this one, or you can use a ribbon, or like I'm going to do here, I'm just going to get a piece of foam adhesive and stick it onto one side, and then it's just kind of a fun little sentiment on the front. So I'm going to stick some foam adhesive just on one side of this. Close this up, put it on that side. And it doesn't quite stay shut, so you can always use one of those bands, but otherwise it just gives you something really fun on the front of your card. Now, like I mentioned, I have stamped and I cut out all of these little flowers from those coordinating dies, and I'm just going to add them here and there on the front. I think that would be really cute to kind of put them around the sentiment and make a little wreath. kind of thing. So I am going to just arrange a few of these pieces here and there on the front. And stick them down where I think they look good, and then I'm just going to adhere them with some glue. So I think that looks really cute. I am going to hold this side down with my dish, and then I'm going to work on adding some glue to the back of these stamped images and just adhering them to the front of my card. All right, there's a really simple shutter card for you. If you wanted to, you could decorate it even more with more of these stamped flowers. You can use colored cardstock, you can ink blend, put some embellishments like sequins on there, or keep it really clean and simple like I've done today. I think your friends would just be wowed in general to have a card delivered to them that is so interactive and so fun. You could even put a picture behind here if you had sending this to a grandma or a loved one. Put a picture of your kids or your family in there, and I think that would make it look really special. So with this die set, with this stamp set, there are so many different things that you can do to kind of make it your own, make it unique, do a whole bunch of different designs. So we can't wait to see what you guys do with this shutter card die and stamp set. So thanks so much for joining us today. I hope this gives you a good look at this shutter card and how to assemble it and some of the different things that you can do with it. If you create with this shutter card, make sure you tag us on social media if you share your creations. We always love to see what you're doing. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications so you never miss another video from us, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!